Hey guys, it's Daniel. Yes, I am aware I have not made any videos in a while. I skipped a day, and then I think I skipped another day. So that's not so great if we're trying to make daily content. But today we're back with the Chess Basics series, and we're going to continue by looking at chess.com's Playing the Game series. So right after we learned the past few days, we've been learning about how to move the pieces. If you don't know how to do that, you can go and look at either of those. And now we're going to be moving on to some other aspects of the game of chess. So
In order,
again, if you would like, you may listen to the videos. I don't know if I'm allowed to show them, so I'm not. But I'm going to be doing my best to explain what I know and in a way that you can understand and teaches you. Okay, so right now we're learning about the squares on the board, which I have been talking about for the past couple of videos with the piece capturing, but we're just going to review it anyways. So if you notice, I have turned on settings to where you can see these numbers, see this 8, 7, 6, and these letters, A, B, C, and this helps us with something called notation. So notation refers to writing something down. So the writing down or recording of the moves of a game. So this pawn is on G1. By that I mean it is in the G column and the first rank, or the G file as chess players call it. This pawn is in the E file and the second rank. It's on E2. This pawn is on the fourth rank and the A file. So it's on A4. I haven't really talked much though about what the pieces are notated as. Those are the squares. If I wanted to say king to f2, how would I write the king? If I wanted to say pawn to e4, because pawns can move two squares first move, how would I write pawn to e4? So it says play a5. So I did talk about this in the last video, but pawns actually are the only piece in chess that doesn't have a little letter in front of the square, and they're not worth it. They're just measly little pawns, unless it gets to the other side of the board. Pawn promotion. But yeah, so the A5 means it's a pawn because there's no letter in front of it. And the pawn, which of these two pawns can move to A5? If you'd like, you may pause the video and think about it. All right, okay, so let's look at this pawn square. Well, one way to know is this one's on the E file, this one's on the A file. Pawns can only move forward one square at a time. So the only one that can move on the A file still, this is A5 square, is this pawn from A4 to A5. Boom. Okay. White wants to attack black's pawn on B7. Okay, first let's figure out which square is B7. So when I look down here, go B, B, B. And one of the things that you'll learn as you play chess is you'll just start to like know where these squares are. So like when I see B7, I now instinctively look at the B7 square. And so even when you can turn off the letters and numbers and you'll instinctively do it after you play chess enough, which is pretty cool. And that's true of almost everything you do in chess. It's a lot about patterns and repetition. And once you get the hang of it, it's a lot easier to understand. Okay, invade the seventh rank with rook d7. That's just a good idea in general when there's rooks on the board, especially as you're nearing an end game, when there's less pieces on the board, not many left, to put your rook on this seventh rank as white or this second rank as black. Because like if black has his rook here, now my king can't get into the game because the rook blocks all these squares. Same with this rook here blocking the king, and it also just attacks any pawns black's left behind. So we want to, where is b7? I guess is my ultimate question. Well, not my ultimate question, my first question. B7, so you look A, B. Okay, so it's somewhere on here. I'm looking for 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so B7 is this square. And sure enough, there's a pawn on it, so that's good. That helps us know we did something right. So we want to attack the black pawn on B7 by playing rook D7. So rook is notated with an R, as you can probably see. Rook R. Every piece, just as a heads up, except for pawns and knights, it's the first letter of their piece name right in front of them. As we'll learn, knights don't for a unique reason. Pawns just don't because, as I said, they're considered like not valuable enough, I guess. Like if you want, you could put like P A5 for the last one, but no one does that really. If you'll see it much more commonly as just A5. Rook D7. So D7 square is still on the 7th rank, but now on D. So let's go A, B, C, D. This square. So now we play Rook D7, attack the B7 pawn if we move left, and boom. All right, let's cut off the black king from the F file. Okay, F file. So do you remember which one of these are files? Is it left to right or up and down? I don't think I've explicitly said or asked y'all this before, but I've been using them in the past couple of videos. So rank is from left to right. The 7th rank file is up and down, so like the C file or the G file. So we want to cut black off from the F file. Which file is the F file? So we got A, B, C, D, E, F. So F, so this entire file. Pretty much the reason white would want to do this here is if we can keep black's king from getting to this F file, then we can start pushing our pawn, and black's king can't do anything about it because the only way for him to stop it is by crossing this F file, one of these squares. So if we play rook F2, RF2, which is right here, we block the king from getting to the F file, so he has to stay on the left side of the board. We can push our pawn on the right and promote. Okay, white has two pieces that can play to D8. Play Q D8. So you can probably guess. So remember, this piece is a bishop. This piece is a queen. They can both go to D8. Which one of these pieces are they ask us to play if it says Q D8? We got bishop and queen. If you said queen, you're correct because it's the first letter of its piece name, queen. So queen D8. And in this case, that's actually check because the queen attacks king on the right. White can move two knights to e4. Okay, so no, I haven't talked about this. So as we know from the last video when we talked about setting up the board, there are two rooks, two knights, two bishops that you start off with. And this also can happen with pawns. So if, but only on pawn captures, sorry. And if the two of the same piece can move to the same square, you have to specify which piece is moving to that square. So what this is saying is that both of the knights can move to e4. So I should have let y'all do that. I'm sorry. Okay, e4. So the reason this is e4, it's on the e file, it's on the 4th rank. Notice how both of these knights can go there. So it says play knight g e4. And I'm going to leave this up to y'all. Just think logically. What do you think knight g e4 means? Why? I mean, if we know we want to move a knight to e4, why? What's this g mean? Okay, so if you figured it out, you may have seen that this knight is on the g file, and that's what that means. Knight g e4 means the knight on the g file goes to e4. If we wanted to move this knight then, what would we say instead? Well, we're moving this knight to e4, but this knight could also move there, as we've said. So we have to specify what file it's on. So it is on the C file. So we would say knight C e4. And now we can talk about this in. So why is it an in? Because if you think about it, you might say knight and it might sound like it starts with an in, but really it starts with a K. It's K in, consonant blend. It's knight, like a knight in shining armor. But a king also starts with a K. And in chess, we give priority to the king. So king gets to keep the K. So this would be K, F2. KFC. No, just kidding. Whereas now this is an N. It's the second letter of night. It's the sound of night. It's okay. The night kind of has to deal with it anyways. So, yeah. And is that all? Oh wait, no, we have to actually make the move. No, I did not mean to do that. It's okay. Knight G4. Boom. Okay, we're gonna go straight to the next course or lesson. Ah,
You've already learned.
I don't want to play too much of the videos. Okay, so this is moving and capturing pieces. Interesting. So yes, one of the ways to help you win is by capturing other pieces that your opponent has. Because if they have less pieces, then they're less likely to attack you and win, and they're less likely to defend themselves. So, it says white's mighty queen is fighting against an already black pieces. Can you find a capture for white? So remember our queen moves up, down, left, right, diagonally. So let's see. One thing that could help, I won't click it yet, but if I click the queen, we can see all possible squares it can go to. And this is one of the things, this is why we need to take our time sometimes in chess, because pieces like the queen are so viable because they can attack the other side of the board from wherever they are, because they have such a long range of motion. Like my queen can go all the way here and play check. Now this is actually a bad move if you want to do like a little bonus puzzle. This check might look appealing at first, but it's actually a bad move. And if you can figure out why, that's pretty great because it's somewhat hard to see. Okay, so first I'll explain that. So if you play here, check, you could move king there. That doesn't hurt him too much. Knight, if knight blocks, you just take it, you win a knight. But if we play queen check, he can capture our queen. And now he's non-check and he just won our queen. We're just losing now. Instead, what we should do is take the free rook. Boom. So see how our queen is attacking his rook? Also notice how his rook's attacking our queen. So if it were black to move, he would just take our queen. But because it's our move, we can now take the rook for free. Oh, I should have asked what square that is. Okay, another thing about notation. See this little X here? X means captures. So this should be queen takes or captures on H3. And that same rule applies for the knight thing, where it was knight G E4. If there had been a piece on E4, you'd say knight G X E4, not knight X G E4. Because what you're saying, if you were to sort of like say it out loud, you're saying the knight on the G file takes something on the E4 square. You're not saying the knight takes the G and E4. Like that doesn't make as much sense when you try and explain it out loud in that order. So it would have been knight G X E4. Sorry about that, guys. I just didn't know how loud a cough would be if I cough right into the microphone. That could be bad. Also, I was noticing my microphone was messing up past couple of videos, so that's actually one of the reasons I haven't posted some. And I didn't fix it, so hopefully this isn't too bad. White is down queen for 2 pawns. Well, that's not good. Yeah, it literally says that. Not so good. Don't want to be down to queen for 2 pawns. Can you find a capture that can turn the game around for white? Okay. So remember how pawns capture one square diagonally. So boop. Do we have any pawn captures? No, we don't. Yeah. Well, let's look at our bishop. Our bishop's not super great. Like this diagonal is really long. But are there any pieces on this diagonal for us to take? No. And if we play here, that's our only square on this diagonal, we are attacking the queen. But because the queen can move diagonally, the queen also is attacking us, and it's black to move. We have bishop here. Black will just take it. Let's look at knight moves. Do we have any good knight moves? Yes, we do. So there's actually one capture on the board, and it is a very good one. Makes white winning, actually, even though he's down a queen for 2 pawns. Do you see it? Well, I did, I think, highlight these squares because I clicked on the knight. But you may notice that the knight is an L away from taking the queen. The queen, the most powerful piece. Take it down. And we capture the queen, and now white is winning. Okay, black is up at night. All white's pawns are blocked, so they can't move forward. Can you find one pawn that can capture a piece? Okay, so remember, pawns you move forward, and none of the pawns can move forward, but they capture one square diagonally. So let's find out which pawn. So this pawn could capture this one way, but there's no black piece there. This pawn here, here. Oh, whoops, not mean to do that. Here, here. This pawn here, here. So anywhere in there, did you see a capture that we can make? If you said pawn takes knight, then you're correct. Now, how would we notate that? I actually don't know if yeah, we haven't. Okay, I should just have a video that is just notation. So I will probably do that again. But this is hopefully helping y'all with notation. I'll make it more succinct and explanatory then. But we are taking on to which square is this. So that's important, always a notation. E file, 5th rank. So that is E5. And it is a capture, so you need to have an X in there. And the way you notate that with a pawn is it'd be as if you said P X E4, but remember there's no P, so it's just X E4 or takes on E4. And you don't write what piece you take ever in notation, so you wouldn't say takes knight E4. No, you would just say takes on E4. Okay. Black's bishop is threatening to capture white's rook on A1. So no, okay, black's bishop, rook on A1. So that's a corner square. So black's stunning that. Can you find a way to save the trapped rook? Oh yeah, notice this rook can't get out because rooks move left and right, up and down. So the only way really to do that by moving pieces would be, push pawn, move bishop, but then he just takes before we can move. So what are we to do about it? Do you see a way to get out of it? If you said rook takes c3, you'd be correct. So yeah, notice that this rook's on the opposite side of the board. It's on the king side, and this bishop is on the queen side. But the rook is so strong because it can move from one side of the board all the way to the other, which is really powerful. Boom. So now we take that bishop and we save our rook, win black's bishop, and now we're just winning. I again forgot to ask y'all about notation. Sorry. In this position, white has several captures, but only one of them is good. Can you find white's best capture? Okay, so let's identify how many captures black or white has. You can pause the video if you want. I'm gonna count to 3, and then I'm gonna hold up how many fingers I think white has in terms of captures. Okay, 1, 2, 3. See what I did there? Okay, so white has 3 captures. So we could take this pawn with our queen, we could take this pawn with our queen, or we could take this rook with our king. So one way to first think about it is, are pawns or rooks more valuable? Rooks are more valuable. They can move so much more. These pawns can only do like boop, boop, and they're not even close to promoting. So theoretically, this rook is already more valuable. Another thing to notice is, in terms of which one's the best, we have to check which pieces are defended. This pawn is reinforced by this pawn. If we take, black will take us back. This pawn, if we take that pawn, then black will take us. And notice now we can't take the rook. Whereas the rook is not guarded by anything. So we could take it for free. And what notation would this be? So it's the king. So that's the piece letter is a K. And we are taking a piece. So it's KX. And the piece is on the G file 3rd rank. So it's on G3. So you put that all together, you get King X G3 or King takes G3. So yeah, hopefully y'all learned a lot during this lesson. I'm saving the next couple lessons on checks and checkmates. We'll learn more about those terms just because they go together. So saving those for another separate video. But yeah, if you enjoyed or learned and you're looking forward to more, please subscribe, hit the notification bell so that way you can be notified whenever I release more of these videos. And I will see y'all in the next one. Bye, guys.